Yo, real talk, this war has now dragged on longer than the Soviet Union's entire fight against Nazi Germany in World War II, nearly 4 years in. Putin thought this was going to be a quick W. It wasn't, not even close. Welcome back to another update on the Russia-Ukraine war. We're breaking down the latest battlefield moves, the airstrike situation, and where diplomacy actually stands right now. Battlefield. It's been freezing cold in Ukraine, and that's actually slowed Russia's advance. But don't get it twisted, heavy fighting is still popping off across multiple fronts. Pokrovsk, that battle's basically done. Russia already pushed north toward Hryshiny and grabbed back some territory near Novoshakhove. Next up on Russia's hit list, Kostiantynivka. They've been grinding toward it since they took Toretsk back in August 2025. Months later, still no solid foothold, barely moving. Up north, though, the story's different. Siversk, a heavily fortified town, just got taken by Russian forces. Now they're running a pincer move on Lyman, trying to grab Yampil and Drobysheve. Most of Yampil is already gone. Another battle for Lyman is coming. If Russia pulls that off, they're only 20-25 kilometers from Sloviansk, one of the towns Putin literally says Ukraine has to hand over before any ceasefire talks. Yeah, that's the ask. Here's where it gets wild. Russia's Ministry of Defense keeps claiming they control Kupiansk, but that's just not true. Ukraine controls most of the city. There are still some Russian pockets, but it's nowhere near what Moscow's claiming. It gets worse. Russian officials are also claiming towns they don't even control. And when they make those claims, their own soldiers on the ground are forced to go launch actual attacks to make the propaganda true. That leads to more Russian casualties. Russian military bloggers, the ones who actually know what's happening, are not happy about it. Sumy and Volchansk are heating up. Russia's stepping up assaults there, likely trying to create a buffer zone along the border. Zaporizhia is looking rough for Ukraine. Russia's taken most of Hulapule, a key town in that region. They've also captured Stepnohirsk and pushed to the Kinska River. Their apparent target, the city of Zaporizhia itself. They're still 20 kilometers out, but Ukraine's going to need to push reserves in to stop them. This might be the biggest challenge Ukraine is facing right now. Russia's been launching hundreds of Shahed drones mixed with ballistic missiles on the regular. Ukraine's air defenses are shooting down most of them, but not all, and that's the whole point. Russia's strategy is to flood the skies with so many drones that some always get through. It works. Ballistic missiles are even harder to stop. They carry bigger payloads, and there aren't enough Patriot missiles to take them all down. Look, no country on Earth could stop everything thrown at them for 2-3 straight years, but the shortage of air defense systems is making it even worse. The result? Kyiv, Kharkiv, Odessa, Dnipropetrovsk, Sumy, Mykolaiv, all hit hard. Millions of Ukrainians without power or heat during the coldest winter in recent memory. In some areas, water pipes have literally frozen. Kyiv's government told residents who could leave to get out. Close to 600,000 people bounced in January alone. People in Kyiv and Odessa have started protesting the blackouts. Small protests for now, but that's exactly what Putin wants. Break civilian morale, pressure the government to fold. The mini ceasefire. On January 29th, Trump announced he got Putin to agree to a week-long pause on strikes against Ukraine's energy infrastructure, in exchange for Ukraine not hitting Russia's oil infrastructure. Zelensky praised it, but a lot of folks are wondering if this just gave Russia time to stockpile more missiles for bigger strikes later. Still, it's the first real tangible result from Trump's push to end this war. That's something. Here's the problem. The two sides can't agree on anything major. Territory, security guarantees. Russia keeps shifting the goalposts. One day it's Donbass, next day Odessa, then they want NATO to roll back from Central Europe entirely. Classic negotiating in bad faith. Putin wants a military win. That's it. The diplomatic talk is just noise. Russia's also pulling old-school propaganda moves. Lavrov claimed Ukrainian drones hit Putin's residence. Ukraine denied it. Trump said he didn't buy it either. Sound familiar? It's the same playbook as the fake, dirty bomb claims back in 2022. There were actually two diplomacy lanes running right now. Track 1. Ukraine and its closest European allies, France, UK, others, are working on post-war security guarantees and potentially deploying a coalition of the willing to deter future Russian aggression. On January 6th, Ukraine, France, and Britain signed a declaration about deploying forces to Ukraine after a ceasefire. Sweden might send Gripen jets. Britain already set aside £200 million for troop deployment. U.S. Secretary Rubio confirmed the U.S. is on board, but reportedly only if Ukraine accepts Russia's territorial demands on Donbass. Russia, meanwhile, is flat-out opposed to any Western troops in Ukraine. Track 2, American shuttle diplomacy between Ukraine and Russia. No major breakthrough, but on January 24th, there was a trilateral meeting in Abu Dhabi, the first official Ukraine-Russia meeting since the 2022 Istanbul talks. Some progress on ceasefire monitoring. Donbass is still the wall. Ukraine's new chief of staff, Kyrylo Budanov, a guy who doesn't sugarcoat anything, called it cautiously optimistic. Talks will continue. Ukraine is still getting equipped. On January 1st, Germany delivered 2 Patriot air defense systems. Later, Zelensky locked down an unspecified number of Patriot missiles directly from Trump. Britain sent 13 Raven and 2 Gravehawk air defense systems, plus announced a new interceptor drone called Octopus, specifically designed to take down Shahed drones, and it's reportedly cheaper to produce than the Shaheds themselves, which is a big deal. Britain also pledged support for Ukrainian defense startups in £20 million for energy infrastructure repair. Italy, Norway, and Japan chipped in for the grid too. Czechia is sending a combat aircraft for drone interception. On the ground side, Germany delivered 5 Lynx XF-41 infantry fighting vehicles. Britain pledged to develop Nightfall short-range ballistic missiles. Finland dropped nearly €100 million in military aid. Equipment losses. As of January 31st via Oryx, Russia, 4,330-plus tanks, 10,680-plus vehicles, 3,130-plus command posts, 2,262 artillery systems, 174 aircraft, 166 helicopters. Ukraine, 1,386-plus tanks, 5,954-plus vehicles, 84-plus command posts, 1,159 artillery systems, 113 aircraft, 54 helicopters. Bottom line, air defense is Ukraine's most critical need right now. Until they can better shield their cities and infrastructure, Russia's going to keep grinding them down from above. More updates coming. If you want to stay in the loop, subscribe and hit that bell. And if you want to go deeper, our members get access to over 200 exclusive videos, early releases, our private Discord, and more. Links in the description.